Hi folks, and welcome to the channel Cooking with Cramer. Today I'm going to show you how to make scones. First, a no-frills vanilla scone recipe, and then using that recipe as sort of a blank canvas, we're going to be making some warm, autumn-inspired pumpkin spice scones. Let's get started.
As always, let's get our mise en place ready first. Do as I say, not as I do. The amount you see is for a double batch, so rest assured that I do know there are 4 eggs, even though I tell you 2. For the basic vanilla scone recipe, you're going to need 2 3/4 cups or 326 grams of all-purpose flour. If you want really delicate scones, you can opt for pastry flour. 1/3 cup or 67 grams of granulated sugar, 3/4 teaspoon or 5 grams of salt, 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of baking powder. Also, a half cup or 113 grams of cold butter, preferably nearly frozen. For the wet ingredients, you're going to need 2 large eggs, 2 teaspoons or 9 grams of vanilla extract, 3/4 cup or 170 grams of heavy cream, and then some demerara or turbinado sugar. In a large mixing bowl, mix together all of the dry ingredients. Then take that cold butter and grate it into the flour using a cheese grater. This is going to create that tender, slightly crumbly texture that is ideal for scones. Blend that butter into the flour using your hands, making sure that each piece of butter is well coated with flour. This is referred to in baking as the biscuit method, which allows for evenly dispersed fat throughout a dough, resulting in tender, flaky, buttery layers of sweet pastry. In a separate mixing bowl, whisk together the eggs, vanilla, and heavy cream. Add the liquid ingredients to the dry ingredients and stir until everything is moistened and holds together. Don't mix it too much because overmixing can produce too much gluten, which is going to result in a tougher scone. Transfer the dough to a lightly floured work surface and shape into a large circle, about 1.5 inches thick. Brush the top with heavy cream and then sprinkle some of that raw sugar on top. Using a bench scraper or knife, cut the circle into 6 to 8 portions depending on your desired size and the number of servings. Place the portions onto a parchment-lined baking sheet and bake for 18 to 23 minutes or until the edges are lightly browned. While your scones are baking, let's mix the icing together because you can't have a proper sweet scone without adding more sugar to it. You're going to need 1 cup or 120 grams of confectioner's sugar, 3 to 4 tablespoons or 45 grams of heavy cream, and then a half teaspoon or 5 grams of vanilla extract. If you want to shell out the extra cash on vanilla beans or vanilla paste, these also work really well and add a cool speckled effect to the icing. Mix the icing ingredients together with a whisk. Ensure that the icing is fully hydrated but not runny. Allow the scones to cool for at least 10 minutes before icing. Now, moving on to the pumpkin spice scones. Add 2 tablespoons or about 12 grams of the pumpkin pie spice of your choice, or make your own if you want bragging rights. For that, add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Then, whisk about 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree into the wet mix. Make sure that you have removed as much moisture as possible from the puree by further cooking it down or at least blotting it with a paper towel. Mix until homogenized and repeat the process from the vanilla scones. For the icing, add about a tablespoon of pumpkin puree and a couple pinches of pumpkin pie spice and mix it together. And then ice them up and enjoy.
Alright folks, and that is scones. There are so many recipes out there for this delicious breakfast biscuit that we didn't get to visit this time, so this won't be the last time that we'll touch on this recipe. Thank you so much for joining me on this culinary adventure. And if you like what I'm serving, please hit that like and subscribe button, and see you next week.